Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do ClothSim real quick. First things first, though, is you want to make sure you have your project set. It does save additional information other than your scene file. If you cache it anyway, and you will want to cache the simulation. Okay, so I'm going to open up my flour sack. Let's see if I remember where I saved it. That's always good. Okay, forget that. I'm just going to create a new plane. Okay, so polygon primitives. I'm going to go ahead and do a plane. We'll make it interesting. We'll do a cylinder. And I'll scale it to resemble sort of a pillow or something, I guess. Now you want the geometry to be pretty evenly spaced before you do a cloth sim. And I know this is going to be a real quick one, but and you would also want to make sure it was all quads. Okay, by default. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this a little bit to force it to sim a little bit different. And then, so let's say that was our character pose for the flour sack in this case, or maybe you're making a curtain. Maybe it's for a curtain or something. But anyway, we're going to model your object into its, or animate it into its default pose for the sim. And then you would create a duplicate of it so that it would not be rigged anymore. You don't want to sim on a rigged mesh. Okay, so I'm going to go to delete history and freeze transformations. And this is very much based off reality, so you want this to be realistic size if we're working on a realistic scene. Okay, but all you have to do is if you go to the in cloth section, you can tell it to make it cloth. Okay, now it's a cloth object. Okay, that was real easy. Now we go to, I'm going to create a plane so to give it something to collide against. So let's say it's going to drop to the floor. And I need to tell it to collide. So that's going to be that's a rigid body now is what we call that. And now you want to make sure that your playback is set to play every frame. That is very important. If you do not do that, you will not get a good cloth simulation. It has to play every frame in order to be able to sim it correctly. Okay. Now I can press Control A on my keyboard, and there's the in cloth shape. There's the nucleus, and I don't know if you guys have ever noticed before, but you have, or bothered to look at these, but you have these presets, and we can select a preset, and we can tell it to blend with the current preset if we want to by a certain amount. But you can choose, like, you know, we could treat this object as if it was made out of honey if we wanted to, you know, or heavy denim. And so this is your fast way to do this stuff without having to know too much. I'm going to select a t-shirt and tell it to replace. Okay, you'll also notice that it gives me some notes down here in this section. So if you're curious what that preset did, then this is what kind of tell you. Okay, so with that done, once I got my presets all done, you'll notice there's also some of these. I lied. I thought there would be some on the nucleus. Okay, so they're just on the in-cloth shape. So I'm going to close that, and all I have to do is click this play. Okay, I didn't have enough time. Okay, so I need to allow plenty of time for this particular sim. So I'm going to go to 1,000. I'm going to back up to the beginning and click play. Okay, and there's my ClothSim. Once it reaches a point where I think it looks good, I can stop it, and I know I don't need to go any further than that. Well, the problem with that Sim is I didn't save any information on it. I need to create what's called a cache. So if I have that object selected, go to In Dynamics on my menu set, and then I can go to, let's see, it's been a while since I've done this. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I'm forgetting. Yeah, well, am I missing that? Fluid in cache. That's not really what I was thinking. Maybe that's it. Create new cache. Okay, well that ought to do it. Nope. Must select a fluid object. Okay. So we can do it up here too. We just have to find the right shelf button. Okay. Given selected in mesh and particle, create cache. Okay, so we can select this and it's going to cache it. This time it's saving frame by frame the vertex animation for this object. And you can see that it's going slower because it's trying to write a whole bunch of information to the hard drive right now. And when this is done, oh, I didn't minimize my timeline. Okay, so I can stop it, I think, by pressing escape. Yep. And so I'm going to set my new time range to 488. And I know that this portion is cached. So what's so nice about caching is that I can scrub my timeline now and see it play back. And it's not re-simulating it now. Okay, and that's how you would run a ClothSim. That's the very short, condensed version of running a ClothSim. Now you can see that this particular one is not good because look how it's spinning. After it collapses, it's kind of shifting a little bit, slithering. That's not good. So we'd want to control our settings a little better than that. Anyway, that's cloth simulation.